Section 3.6, Algebra of Functions. In other words, what we like to do is combine the functions or apply the four basic operations on the functions. Now that we know a little bit what function is, guess what? We can add them, subtract them, multiply them, even divide functions, which we cannot do any of these with relations. So that's why functions play an important role in real life, because any relationship, special relationship, which expresses one variable in terms of the other one, that can be defined as a function. But remember, function is a special case of relation. So having said that, so the question is, how do you add functions, two functions? How do you subtract two functions, multiply and divide? Suppose you are given two different functions like f of x and g of x. Remember, these are just nicknames for y's. In order to add two functions, you go f of x plus g of x. However, in the land of mathematics, we have a special notation, which kind of goes like what? F plus g of x, and that's how you read this. This is not f plus g times x, but you read this as f plus g of x, okay? You read this as f minus what? G of x, which means subtract two functions. This guy is multiplication, and you read this as f times g of x. Notice there has to be a big old dot here. And this guy is f divided by g of x. And this is the notation. So these are the notations for addition, subtraction of two functions, multiplication of two functions, division of two functions. Notice division is shown by a fraction. F of x goes on top, g of x goes at the bottom, and then you box your answer. So having said that, what do you say we do a couple of examples, or two or three, and then so we can get used to it. Here are your functions, x squared minus 4. Here is a different function, negative 5x plus 3. This is called what? Later on we will learn it's polynomial function of degree 2, and this is linear equation. Anyways, question is find the following: f plus g of x, f minus g of x, f times g of x, and f divided by g of x. Remember, when you combine functions, the final answer is still a function, yes? So it's not like we're going to get something totally different. Still, the answer is going to be a function. So let me just take you through these steps. F plus g of x means take f of x, add it to g of x. So that's like take x squared minus 4, add it to what? Negative 5x plus 3. Combine the like terms if you have any. X squared minus 5x, but negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. Box your answer. Do not attempt to solve for x. These are not equations. These are just combining the functions, yes? When you notice I combine two functions, at the end of the day, I still ended up with a function. How would you subtract? Remember, in addition and multiplication, the order doesn't matter, but in division and subtraction, the order matters. Who gets subtracted from what? Okay, in this case, you take in what? G of x and subtracting from f of x, not the other way around, yes? So f of x has to go first, followed by g of x. Do you see it? So there goes the minus sign. The difference between addition and subtraction is now you have to distribute the minus by the second what? Function. So this would be like x squared minus 4 plus 5x minus 3. Combine the like terms, you get x squared plus what? 5x minus 7. And box your answer. Do not attempt to solve for x. These are not, I repeat, not equations. What about f times g of x? Well, that's like take f of x and multiply it by g of x. So the dot means multiply. Okay, so that would be x squared minus 4 times negative 5x plus 3. Later on in chapter 5, we will see these are called binomials, a special type of polynomials. So you can either use FOIL or distribution law to multiply two binomials. Remember, when you multiply two exponents, you kind of add the powers, correct? So I'm just going to do distribution. So this would be like negative 5x to the power of 3. Remember, the power of this guy is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Then I got 3x squared. Now it's time to distribute the negative 4 by negative 5x and plus 3. I get positive 20x minus 12. I don't think I have any like terms, so I'm just going to box my answer. Do you see? So what happened? I multiply two functions and out comes a different function. Division is the easiest. So when you have f slash g of x, remember the order matters. Who goes on top, who goes at the bottom. All you have to do is what? Put f of x on top, g of x at the bottom. So this would be like x squared minus 4 over negative 5x plus 3. Box your answer. There is nothing else we're going to do at this point. So notice division is the easiest of all these three options. All you have to do, form a ratio between the two functions, but make sure you follow the order. F divided by g of x, f has to go on top. Also follow the order for subtraction. When it comes to addition and what? Multiplication, it doesn't matter which way you multiply or add. Okay. Next one, you got two functions, 2x squared minus x and x minus 6. That's what this guy should read. So let me just kind of fix that. Question is find all these parts. Yes. So I got like what? G many parts. Okay, let's go through this one at a time. All right, you ready? What is f plus g of x? That's like take what? F of x and add it to or combine it with g of x. This basically requires combining the like terms. So here you get 2x squared. The x's cancel. All you have is minus 6. Box your answer. Once again, do not attempt to solve for x. Correct? F minus g of x is what? 2x squared minus x minus x minus 6. So in this case, all you have to do is distribute the minus sign by x minus 6. Remember what that minus sign does? It changes the signs of everyone inside the parentheses. Combine the like terms, you get 2x squared, what? Negative 2x plus 6. Box the answer, end of the problem. F times g of x. So this would be like 2x squared minus x times x minus 6. Just like previous case, now you have to what? Either FOIL this, FOIL this, or distribute. So I'm going to distribute. So that's going to be 2x cubed. Remember the powers of x. If there is no power, they have a hidden power of 1. And we add the powers of x when we multiply x's. So this would be like negative 12x squared minus x squared positive 6x. Okay, take 2x squared, distribute it by x minus 6. When you're done, take negative x and distribute it by x minus 6 as well. So you get 4 terms. Do you see it? None of these guys are alike because the powers of x don't match. So there is no combining. Okay. This guy is the easiest. F divided by g of x. Put f of x on top, right? G of x at the bottom and box your answer. You don't have to do the division at this point. We're going to do dividing polynomials in chapter 5. Sometimes inside the parentheses, you have a number as opposed to x. How do you read this? You read this as f plus g of 1. Okay. What does that mean? Excuse me. That means add the two functions, and once you add, you come up with a what? A result. Replace the x's with 1 in your final answer. Well, guess what? I've already done that in part A. There it is. F plus g of x is 2x squared minus 6. So all you have to do is what? Go f plus g of x from part A is 2x squared minus 6, correct? So in this case, you are asked to find f plus g of 1. So what do? You replace these x's with 1. So that's not times 1. You read this as f plus g of 1. That means you replace the x's inside the box with 1. So what do you get? 2 times 1 squared minus 6, which is 2 times 1 minus 6, which is 2 minus 6. The final answer is negative 4. So when you have a number inside the parentheses, the answer comes up as a number at the end of the day, yes? What do? You go back to what? The part which you applied that operation to the functions and replace the x's with that particular number inside the parentheses with these what? Functions inside the boxes, yes? This reads f divided by g of negative 3. F divided by g of negative 3. Remember, this is not times negative 3, it's of negative 3, meaning replace the x's with negative 3 in the previous part when you did the division. Well, there goes the division. So in part D, I came up with f divided by g of x equals 2x squared minus x over x minus 6. My job is now inside this box to replace the x's with what? Negative 3. So I'll get 2 times negative 3 squared minus negative 3 over negative 3 minus 6. So if you do the order of operations, so that will be 2 times positive 9 plus 3 over negative 9. That's 18 plus 3 over negative 9, which is negative 21, I believe, over 9. Right? So that's an answer. That's what happens when you evaluate what f divided by g of x at negative 3. F times g, so you read this as f times g of 2. Remember, this is not f times g times 2. It's f times g of 2. Of meaning replace the x with 2 were in the previous section or part when you multiplied f by g. Here it is. This is the answer. So what I have to do in order to do what? F times g of 2, I have to go to this part right here and replace the x's with 2. So I get 2 times 2 cubed minus 12 times what? 2 squared. Okay. Here, I guess I can combine the like terms. Sorry about that. 2x cubed. Let me just make sure negative 12. Correct. So these guys combine. My apology. Negative 13x squared plus 6x. Okay. So you can combine these x squares, you get negative 13 of those. Negative 12 minus 1 gives you negative 13. Okay then, so here we will have 2 times what? If you don't mind, let me just do it right here. So the question was in part G, find f times of 2. Correct? So I'm going to go back to this box and replace the x's with 2. So f times g of 2 is 2 times 2 cubed minus 13 times 2 squared plus 6 times 2. What are you doing? Replacing the x's with 2. So this would be like 2 times 8 minus 13 times 4 plus 6 times 2. Order of operation, you got to do the power first. So that's like 16 minus what? Negative 52 plus 12. So 16 and 12 is what? 28 minus 52. So that's what? 24, I guess, negative. Okay. Would that add up to negative 52? Yes, it does. So there goes the final answer. So the question arises, why do we care to combine the like terms? Well, in the land of, let's say, business field, the cost function and profit function is a function of X. X is like the number of items sold. Sometimes you have to find, like, let's say, revenue. That's like, the income. Um, or you want to find something called profit. Each of these guys have, or the cost, each of these guys are functions, correct? They are not like in dollar sign in the land of mathematics. If you take like business calculus, these guys will come up in a function form. So the idea is, how do you find the profit? Turns out the profit is what? Revenue minus cost. In other words, if I show profit with P, revenue with R, and cost with C, correct? Profit, which is a function of number of items sold, is what? Revenue minus the cost. But in the mathematical notation, I can say P of X equals what? R minus C of X. Do you see it? So it shows up in later classes, so it would be nice if you go on that route to learn how to combine functions. Thank you.